In the 1990s, Japan's new high-speed bullet trains ran into an unexpected problem. As they entered tunnels at high speeds, they pushed the air forward, compressing it inside and forcing it out the other side with a loud boom that disturbed nearby residents. One of the engineers, who also happened to be a birdwatcher, noticed how kingfishers dive into water with barely a splash because of their long, streamlined beak. So, they redesigned the train's nose to mimic the kingfisher's shape, eliminating the tunnel boom. In the 1990s, Japan's
That's the news, and Bob, just confirming the ground is now good to say. Oh, you've been joined by a beautiful lady.
No, it's a man, actually, Derek.
Who's? Oh, I'm sorry.
He's just been joined by a beautiful lady. Just remind me of your name, because I completely forgot. Matthew Jones. Of course it's Matthew Jones. He's a man.
That's the news.
Making my way downtown, walking fast, faces pass and I'm homebound.
Go stand there. Tatum, go stand right next to Colt. Colt, don't. Tatum. Tatum, turn around. Oh. Oh. Oh.
Just got off the phone with my mom. Oh my God, there he is. She tracked him and said he was right here. Sure enough, there he is. We're gonna get him right now. Look at him run. Look at him run. Buster, you're being a bad boy. Get in the car right now. In the car.
You got busted, Buster.
Whoa.
That's so fun at that jump.
Easy to handle for a super fun ride. And you get to bid on this first Barbara.
$1,700.
$1,700, Michael.
Exactly, $21.48.
His bid is $21.48. That's an interesting bid. How did you settle on $21.48?
I seen that on there last week, and that was the exact price. I know that's what it is. I watch you every day. I watch you every day, Bob.
Now, you were laughing and you didn't hear what else he said. He says he watches every day. Now, if he wins this, you'll see that loyalty to this show paid off. What do you bid, Scott? Why bid at all? He has the exact price.
Well, what are the bids so far?
The bids so far are $1,700 and $21.48.
$1,800.
$1,800, Noel.
$1,500.
$1,500 for her. Now, wait a minute here. Michael is already leaping around down there. He says he's got it. Now, we'll just find out whether you got it or not. We have a lot of scooters, you know. First number is 2. $2,148. You got it exactly right. You got it exactly right.
It's not a boy hole or a girl hole or a lady hole. It's a man hole. Men go down to work there. And there's always one man outside to help. It's not
Excuse me, I had to fart. I said excuse me. I said excuse me. The elevator's gonna fart too. No?
I love Judy anyway. Everybody loved Judy.
their studies. And then they say, okay, Judy, come on, we're ready. And she'd come out and we'd have another scene, and then off she'd go again. Everybody, as I said, loved her. She was the key person in the thing, and she was the star, and she was the most important of all.
People like Snoop Dogg and all those guys, when they get money, do they stay in the hood or do they leave the hood?
I don't know. I only know certain things about Snoop, right? Like he's from Long Beach.
Well, I just mentioned him because I noticed all of these black people who make a lot of money, they pretend to be into the black thing, but when they make a lot of money, they move into the white areas. They don't stay in the black areas.
Well, Nipsey Hussle stayed in the hood.
Where's Nipsey now?
Dead.
I rest my case.
Cut.
So Mom told me that you're only carrying this bag because I bought it for you, but you don't really like it.
Well, no. It's too heavy. And it's just, I think it's ugly.
A major detail of the Fonz was I swore that I would never wear a belt, I would never have cigarettes in my shirt sleeve, because every other actor that's ever done the part has had that. I would never comb my hair. So in the pilot, they had a part where I had to go unsnap the girl's bra in the bathroom, walk to the bathroom.
I used to do that.
Right. Walk to the mirror and comb my hair. Now I swore I would never do that. So I figured, all right, I have to listen to the director, and I split the difference. I walked to the mirror, pulled out my comb, and went, hey, put the comb back in, and then that started.
Key to a good relationship is spontaneity. I want you to come in when my friends are there with a suitcase and say, ladies, the night's over. Me and Ronnie are going to Mazatlan. So my name is Ronnie. Well, it's Rhonda, but don't call me that unless you're mad at me. I love going out to dinner. It makes me so sad when it's, oh, what should we do tonight? Let's just stay at home, have some beef stew. I could cry. I always wake up and the first thing I do is dance because I am fun. Or do I smoke? I'm a chain smoker. Do I believe in God? Well, that's no fun. Hey, what are you doing down there? Judging every move I make?
Talk about South Park. How did you get involved with those guys?
Well, those guys were big Primus fans. From what I understood, as they were making the South Park pilot, they would listen to different music, hours, countless hours with crepe paper cut. And, as like dudes do, you put on some music. Well, I don't want to fucking hear that. Trey liked one thing and Matt liked another thing. And the one thing they could agree on, from what I was told, was Primus.
Okay.
So they thought, oh, wow, what if we could get Primus to do this? And we did it. The funny thing is what you hear at the end of the South Park episode is what we actually gave them. It's much slower. One of the greatest guitar parts Lur's ever written. So they got it and they said, hey, wow, we love this is great, but Comedy Central thinks it's too slow. Can you do another version that's faster? And we're like, we're on tour, hey, these guys are not even going to get on television.
My God.
We're just like, just speed it up. So they sped it up, and then it became. They came to one of our shows, and I re-recorded the vocals into a little tape recorder, and they took it back, put it together, and then they took over the world.
Talk about sound.
If you're going out on a date with a guy, probably one of the most important screening questions you can ask him is, do you want to be a cowboy, a knight, a pirate, or a samurai? If he says pirate, expect some dirty, nasty, chaotic energy, fucking just real rascal, tomfoolery, shenanigans, the whole shebang. A knight is going to be your stereotypical good boy, real golden retriever energy, will fucking have a great relationship with your mom, sweet, flowers, everything like that. Cowboy's going to be a provider for sure, likely to change your oil, very much will fix things around your house or in your apartment, will help you with little crafts that you want to do as well. Cowboys are also solid. Samurais can be really tricky. This is either going to be a guy that is very family-oriented for sure, very, very good, very lawful good. However, it could also be someone that's just nightmarishly addicted to anime.
Hello, happy Thursday. It is the night for Creative Chaos. For anybody that's new here tonight, Creative Chaos is a show that shines a spotlight on fascinating people creating fantastic things outside the mainstream because plenty of us are just tired of the BS that the mainstream keeps pumping out. I mean, how many reboots can one handle, really? So we focus on the independent creators and always have wonderful guests on. And I've got a good one for you tonight. But before we bring him out, of course, I always love to bring out my co host, the Batman. Hello, the Batman.
I have to unmute. Hey, how you doing, Christy?
I'm all right. I had an upset tummy earlier today. I might be nervous about our guest tonight only because I've been waiting to meet him and I can't believe I've waited so long to invite him.
I can't
So
believe you
I'm
waited so
blaming.
long.
I'm already blaming our guest.
You're blaming the guest for your nervousness. That's funny.
I don't think I'm really nervous, but my stomach started messing with me this afternoon. But I did take a nap and I feel much better.
There you go. Maybe you need some better probiotics in your diet.
Well, you know what's funny is I make my own yogurt because I've heard that the yogurt, even the ones that they say, contain, all the good probiotics, you're really not getting, the full benefits that you should from yogurt because it's been sitting on a shelf for God knows how
Exactly.
long.
My
So I do make
chiropractor,
my own yogurt.
I wish I knew how, but my chiropractor makes kefir. And he makes me my kefir for my dietary code.
Well, what's funny is I just looked up how to make kefir because I heard that's even better. It has more probiotics and good gut health stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And it's oh shoot, I forget what it is, but it's like a root or something that you have to buy. Or if somebody makes their own kefir, they'd happily break you off a piece of their root. I don't know if it's a root, but it's something like that. And then you make it very similarly as to how you make yogurt. I brought it
Okay.
up. I brought it up to Scott, saying, "Hey, I think I want to start making kefir too." And he's like, "Ew, gross. That's nasty." I don't know what it
Believe it
is,
or
but that
not,
sounds gross.
it tastes just like yogurt.
But isn't it a little thinner?
It is a little thinner, yes. And I'm literally only taking a spoonful before each meal. It's not like you're downing the whole thing. You're only taking a spoonful of it, and that's enough. You just need a little bit of, probiotic in your stomach before you eat a meal, because then it just takes over and helps the good bacteria in your stomach take care of it all. What's up, Vulcan Lives? Good to see you out there, brother.
Yeah, he
Our
loves
mod,
greeting you.
our mod out there in which stream is he in?
YouTube.
Ah, there you go. Vulcan lives in YouTube.
Nobody talks to us anywhere else. Oh, which reminds me, I should check Pilt. Madness Comic checked in over there. Why don't we check in with the chat? Because I believe at this point only Nat Rain and Vulcan have checked in. I know before the show started, Rex over there at Devil Flyer Momentum checked in as well as the Pud, saying he was the first to like the stream. I win. That's what the Pud has to say. Maybe he'll check back in if he hasn't already. So, hello to Nat and Vulcan. Welcome in. And of course, Madness Comic Network checking in over on the Pilt side and the YouTube side as well. Good to see you. Thank you for being here. All right. Well, Bruce, you have your mouth full.
Yeah, I'm chewing on a fresh loaf of pumpernickel raisin bread. It's sourdough pumpernickel raisin bread that a friend of mine makes. Organic, natural, holistic. Loving it. Absolutely loving it. And Nat Rains is out there saying tonight's episode is gastronomical chaos.
I guess that will work for me. And then
And
also
Truth Quest, Aaron Moriarty.
Arian checking in over on the Rumble side, our only Rumble chatter. So what's up, Aaron? Hope we'll see a few more words from you tonight as well. And Vulcan says that your bread sounds delicious.
It is absolutely dreamy.
All right. Well, I've got to.
I just tried some of this Cape Cod beach plum jam that my girlfriend brought back from Cape Cod on the bread, and it was absolutely delicious. And then I just smeared some butter on another piece, and that was absolutely delicious. Mash the two up and just make a sandwich out of it. You're done.
Excellent. All right. Well, we've got 17 people watching right now. What should those 17 people be doing, Bruce?
Oh my goodness, guys, if you want to help support this show, Cosmac, throw it up. We want you to like the show wherever you're watching, share the show with all your friends, subscribe to the show, and make sure you ring that alert bell. And if you're on Pilled, hit the red pill. And if you really love us on pill.net, show us some gold pill love too and send a few our way. Thank you very much. And there we go.
Oh, which by the way, so we recently moved Doc's coffee shop from his location over on YouTube to the Flip City Magazine channel, and also we're streaming to Pilled. We've been getting rated because it's a morning show or morning for me. It's 10 a.m. We've been getting rated over there, and I get so many more gold pills with Doc's coffee shop. So I think they love him more than they love me over there on Pill. That's okay. That's fine because I love Doc.
So, do you know the names of the podcasters that raid your show? I'm curious.
It is Handy News has been rating us for the last 2 weeks, and
Not familiar with Handy News, but welcome Handy News and thank you for your support. We appreciate you.
And we've got Aaron Moriarty already promoting Flip City before I even get to the promotion section, which we're going to get into right now. Maybe I should make a stinger for it, like time to sell.
I thought you had a stinger for it.
I don't, not for the promotion section, but I'll do it. I'm going to do it. All right, so I've got a few things here that I want to promote. One of them is a Madness Comic Network thing that happened. It was a secret project. It's out in the open now. So basically, Pops from over at Madness Comic Network gathered a bunch of artists to do an Aussie art book. I don't know if you know about this, Bruce. Were you ever looped in? Oh, yeah, you're muted.
No, I didn't hear about this. So please tell me.
Yeah, so he was able to gather, I think, close to 40 artists. It's going to be a coffee table style art book. A couple of my friends have participated. We didn't. Flip City Magazine did not participate, but I did bring in a friend or two to participate. But something that's really cool about that is 30-something media over on Pilled created an animation to promote it. And we're going to play that right now if you have that ready, Cause.
That's cool.
Ozzy, what are you doing? Come and have a look at this lovely book that was sent over.
You're wrapping in the perpendicular.
Oh, go on and spit the bat out your mouth. No one can understand you like that.
Very now, 6 out of 5 dentists and all.
Oh, well, that's not much better. Ozzy, why don't you sing to me? I can always understand you when you sing to me.
Oh, fucking my brains. What is this my publisher sent me? Inked in black with art so sweet.
So what do you think? Do you like it?
Oh, Lord, yeah.
I like y'all. All right. So wasn't that super cool? Like, I love the networking that happens in independent comics, and people just want to be involved in some way. I have no idea how 30-something media is involved with Madness Comic Network, but there was an animation. So
that's really cool. That was a good animation. That was nice.
Yep. So that happened, and eventually, and I think probably on the sooner side, that book will be available through Critical Blast and on Amazon. I don't know much beyond that. I should get together with Pops if he wants me to promote it more. So I have more details. But I know Critical Blast, and it'll be on Amazon in the near future. But back on to me now, okay?
Please, we're
Creative
supposed to
K.
be talking about you.
Well, actually not me, because
The book.
I'm basically just a promoter for Flip City Magazine, but Flip City Magazine is rad. We all know it. Almost everybody knows it.
So wait a minute. Is it now time for you to whore your book?
Of course.
Go for it.
I love that you chose the word whore. Thanks, Bruce.
You're welcome.
I had a tummy ache earlier. You're only making it worse. Anyway, anyway, we are launching a funding campaign. This is a book that's 5 years in the making. It is our parodies special edition with our wonderful and lovely Australian lead parody artist. Ton of his work in it, Ben Sullivan. We are launching that on August 29th. I am in the process of booking a bunch of appearances and stuff like that to push the book out. It is our very first special edition. We've been publishing the hottest mess takes on pop culture, entertainment, and politics ever since 2020. And we've been building up these parodies for lots of years. The book is going to be awesome. It's going to be one of our fattest editions yet. And for signups, we're doing another subscription contest. I'm dropping that link in the chat right now. If you sign up to be notified when the book launches, you are entered into a 1-year free subscription contest, and you have something to say.
Where's Ben?
He's actually working on the current parody, which is a Skinwalker Ranch parody. We just got 4 pages. Usually Ben colors his own work, but he needs help in the coloring, so Scott's been coloring it. And here's the thing. We Flip City works very differently with our artists, especially when we've built a relationship over years of working with them, where we don't tell them panel by panel what to draw. We give them the script, and Ben has a savage sense of humor. Bruce, do you know what Skinwalker Ranch is? Have you ever seen it?
Is that where the aliens are flying in and out of the mountaintop?
Yes, it's a ranch in Utah, and all kinds of weird
anomalies.
anomalies happen, right? And the
A
main
lot of
scientist,
paranormal crazy shit.
yeah, and the main scientist on his name's Travis, but he's Southern, and we always joke around that somebody with that accent, there is no way, that they're an actual scientist. Anyway, so we just got the 4 pages back that we have to color, and Ben has our character Travis Trailer Trash. He's drugged out, man. He's like shooting heroin.
No,
it has nothing to do with
the show.
But this is Ben's sense of humor written into the script. He's smoking weed. He's shooting heroin. So yeah. Our artists make Flip City Magazine more savage than we intended.
I'll take to smoking the weed, but I don't do heroin. Nope, sorry. Not my tea. Not my drug of choice.
Well, you're playing with fire if you're dipping into heroin.
Yeah.
Anyways, so we've got the parodies edition funding starting August 29th. And please go click that link, sign up to win a 1-year subscription, and you'll be notified of launch and probably some updates and stuff like that as we're funding for the 60 days through basically September and October.
So you're telling me I have to wait till the 29th to launch?
Yeah.
All right, guys, you heard her. The 29th. We got to wait till the 29th to help fund the comic.
That's right. But it will will be going on for 2 months, and it's pretty much a book that's already done because we're publishing parodies that have been done
Oh,
over the last
right.
5 years, and it will be in your hands before Christmas. So it'll also be a good campaign to back for Christmas gifts. So
Nice.
yeah, and we'll be.
I got some people I want to throw a couple of magazines at, but I want to throw them at their head.
Oh well, they might actually like the parodies edition, because we don't
They
go
might. They might.
too hard in the paint in those. Well, it depends on the parody. Anyway,
So
Bruce,
how many pages?
What's that?
How many pages? How thick is this book going to be?
It's probably 80, but it might go more depending on how the campaign goes because the binding will have to do differently than we normally do. We always do saddle stitch, and of course the price comes up. So it depends on it. It'll basically be a stretch goal thing in the campaign. Like we'll put in another parody or two depending on how the campaign's going. But I'll be talking about this for the next couple of months. Don't you worry. You guys will know what is going on for sure.
Absolutely.
But hey, listen, usually we try to go for only 5 minutes. We're already 15 minutes of the show and we do not
What are
have
you
our guest
waiting
in yet.
for? Let's bring our guest in. I mean, it's his lunchtime out where he is, but at least we can get him on.
Yeah. So our guest tonight, he's Australian and boasts a healthy YouTube channel that celebrates creator-owned comics and graphic novels. But most importantly, he's a creator of The Lucent. This is my first time meeting Michael Bancroft, and from what I can tell, including the rumors I've heard, he's a really great guy. Let's watch the Lucent trailer and we'll meet Michael on the other side.
1,000 dreams, 1,000 disappointments, just reflections of reflections. And now, you.
Who are you?
I'm the mirror. I can show you things that can't be found with a fist. Has anyone ever told you about the Lucent?
What is it?
Not what. Who? This world is not what you think it is. Shine a light on it. You may not like what you find. And the brighter the light, the darker the shadow.
Hello, Michael.
Hello.
So nice to meet you.
I haven't watched that trailer in like a week or so.
What's that?
G'day, g'day. I like your hat, Bruce.
Thank you, good sir.
Oh, no, I was going to say my hat.
Your hat's nice too. But I mean,
we offer them for sale.
It's not
I had to wear a baseball cap because I've seen that you wear a baseball cap.
I do, because when I take it off, everyone makes fun of my abnormally large forehead here, which I like to call my forehead. So I just wear this hat here and keep it nice and hidden.
You don't call it the B forehead?
So I cover it.
And after head?
Yeah. And we got a whole song for that on one of my shows.
Did you make it yourself, or
no? It's one of those AI ones that there was just, they collect all the comments. They were making fun of some guy with a huge forehead, and I just overlaid myself onto it.
Okay, I know exactly that one, and I've been looking for it for our doom scroll because it's so funny. Those chat comments.
It is a good one. They're very painfully clever. I mean, you gotta be able to laugh at yourself a little bit.
I'd say laugh at yourself a lot.
If you can't be self-deprecating, then you have no sense of humor.
You're probably not going to last too long on the internet as well. if you can't be a little self-deprecating, I think.
I
Because
agree.
God knows everyone else is going to give it to you. So you may as well join in on the fun.
Exactly. I agree.
Yeah, I was chided once by Doc Blaylock for being too self-deprecating. He's like, "Why are you so mean?" I'm like, "It really is a self-defense mechanism."
I've gotten that as well. But the way I figure it is, paint yourself a really big target. Then when everything hits, it doesn't really matter. It's just it's all part of the thing. But yeah, I remember. When you go on the internet and you start putting, especially if you start putting your work on the internet, you're up against seasoned professionals who've been doing it for decades. So you've got to sort of realize where you're at in that sense and not take it too seriously. So but one professional said to me, no, you got to stop putting yourself down like that. It's just my way. That's just how I am. I guess I'm just being me.
Listen, I personally love the deprecators.
that was my kids, a few years back. Thankfully, they're past that now.
I just have to make one comment. I'm sorry. I love, Michael, I love your background, and I'm very impressed that you have a Bitters beer sign in the background, Victoria Bitter.
Yep, that's the local. I mean, national kind of. It's one of the big national beers here in Australia.
Oh, you mean it's not Foster's in an oil can?
It isn't, thankfully. We don't do the Foster's in the oil can thing in Australia. That doesn't exist. We still sell Foster's, but it's very hard to find because it's owned by Canada and brewed in Japan and sold as the Australian beer. No one can understand any of it.
I agree with you. That's why I think it's hysterical. But I love Victoria Bitter in the background there, so that's really cool.
Yeah, I got that for a steal. They usually sell these things for like $1,000, and they had it on there for a couple $100. I was like, I'm grabbing that.
Good for you. Well, the other show I'm with our producer, Cosmic Grandpa, is known as Three Beer Men. That's our show. We talk about beer, pop culture, and technology.
Yeah, sounds good.
Yeah, well, just talking about, beers being whatever they are. One of the funniest pictures I ever saw, and I thought it was horrific at the same time, were a bunch of Irish guys in a pub drinking Bud. And I'm like, that's actually an import. Are they enjoying it? I mean, they have Guinness.
Yeah, but you got to understand from their point of view, Bud is like a bit of a fancy imported beer.
Uh-huh.
They sell things very differently. So in Australia, Stella Artois is this snooty French beer. In France, it's like what the bums drink on the street. It's the cheapest piss water. But in Australia, they market it as this very highfalutin, French.
I think it's similar in the United States. They market it the same way. I
Well,
still don't drink it.
it as the Australian beer, and people think anyone in Australia has had a sip of it in 30 years. We actually did a show on my channel where we all drank Foster's, and one of my co-hosts got sick for a week because he made the mistake of having two. Yeah,
that's funny.
It's amazing. It is very disgusting, and you drink it in the can. It actually tastes like you are drinking from an oil can. I mean, it is disturbingly.
Yeah.
All right. Well, we will get back into your favorite drinks in just one moment because we're getting into our very first segment, which is Fanboy for Us. This is Bruce's segment, and this is where I love moving you up to the top here. Actually, I'm
Okay.
going to switch you two. There's the host position. All right. So we're going to do Fanboy for Us. We love getting to know our guests this way. I get to know you in the way I like to at the end, though. And that's
That just came out sounding really dirty.
In the end?
In the end, I get to know
in
you
the
better.
end, I get you.
Anyway, cause let's get into Fanboy for Us, and Bruce is going to take over for a moment while I go get myself another beverage.
All right, all right, all right. So the very simple and easy way to get to know somebody is to ask you a few of your favorite things.
Hmm.
You want to, off the top of your head, give us the first thing that comes to mind that you know to be one of your favorites. So first and foremost, your favorite movie.
Silence of the Lambs.
Ooh, dark and gritty. I like it.
And
All
I'm
right.
not even that kind of guy either. I don't usually like dark, horrific movies, but that one, I don't know. It just
So what is the element of attraction for you with that movie? What do you like the most?
the character of Hannibal Lecter. I have. There's been times where I've been kind of obsessed with that, and no, I'm a big fan of things that are very well written and very clever, and
Yes.
I'll find myself just watching clips of all kinds of different movies, and that movie especially has some fantastic scenes in it. Character
Yeah.
back and forth and stuff like that. Yeah.
Just a little sidebar on Silence of the Lambs. You know the character who tucks himself under
Mm-hmm.
and wears all the girly clothes. Okay,
Buffalo Bill. Yep.
Buffalo Bill. Thank you. Okay, so Buffalo Bill lived in a house that was created. They bought a house and they made it into the movie house. Well,
Mm-hmm.
there's a guy who actually owns the original house and turned it back into the movie set house. And he's got the pit. He's got the pit. He's got the basement with the sewing machine.
I hope he doesn't have the congresswoman's daughter down there.
Well, it's a tourist attraction now. It's an Airbnb. You can actually Airbnb Buffalo Bill's house. It's pretty
With
wild.
the death's head moths just flying around randomly.
I'm just thinking how many drugs have been done down in the pit.
Yeah, I don't know, but they even
I
have
don't
their
know
own
if it's like
skincare
this
line.
in real life, but I remember the place where where it was set. It seemed very bleak in the movie. Very kind of depressing. I'm sure that's just how they film it. They colorize it and make it all.
Well, they used that 70s wood panel and the shag carpet, and then
You
the
know what?
pit.
You know what's funny is it's literally right next door to the Brady Bunch house.
No.
No way. Well, there you go.
Exactly,
It just
no
goes
way.
to show.
I'm
It's like,
talking out my ass.
oh, okay. Well, in in any movie that's set in Mexico, they put that yellow filter over it. So this, it looks like Mexico, movie Mexico, and then they do similar filters in different areas. So it is true in Australia as well. When they film in Australia, everything looks kind of brown. It's just the way that I guess people think, the world is.
Okay. Well, now we're going to ask you your favorite, any genre now, any genre, any medium you prefer, your favorite artist.
As in visual artist? Anything.
Visual artist. Anything.
That is
From
such a
comics
difficult question.
to painting to ceramics to jewelry to who's your favorite artist?
All right. Oh God. Favorite artist is Kenneth Rocafort.
And how would we know Kenneth Rocafort? From where?
He's in Indies now. So he was working for DC for a while. But he's a pure independent artist now, and I think he's just one of the best in the business. His current book that he works on now is called Broken, but he does about, I don't know, a dozen or so covers for, I think, mostly DC. He's got a fantastic Superman cover. But no, he's got a series out called Broken, and a lot of times when I look at an artist, I'm like, I know how he does that, even though I don't have the talent to do something similar, but I know at least how they do it. With Kenneth, he does things I don't even comprehend how he does it. He works in all different kinds of mediums, digitally, traditionally, inks, paints, watercolors, gouache, pencils, everything. And yeah, he's pretty spectacular.
Now, as far as him working in the indies, Michael, I mean, is he doing like contracted work or is he producing his own things?
Producing his own thing. He was doing covers for all. I actually asked him if he would do a cover for the book that I currently he was like, he was the only artist really I would want to do a cover, a variant cover for my story. I love the way he draws women. But he said he's mostly just doing his contracted commissions these days for covers. He's on he's getting into his fourth book in the Groken series, so I guess he's got his hands full.
Bummer you weren't able to land him. So you've never done variant covers by different artists?
No, never.
Okay.
Yeah, I guess it kind of comes from where I came from into the indies, which was more sort of a European side, where that's not really a thing that people do that much. And so, I'm not against them. I just was like, I was always my own artist on all my books. The book I'm working on currently, I do have an artist, so I did get him to do one, and I did one, but no outside other artists yet.
Yeah, well, that's the thing. Like, I don't know what you're showing, Bruce, but yeah, I only became aware of variant covers very recently. And I was like, why does everybody do this? I didn't know there was a difference between European and American and what you do or are
I think it's
supposed to do.
definitely an American thing, and I think it's a more of a recent thing. When I was growing up, there were no variant covers in comic books. It was just that was the cover, and I think it was just a sort of a way to get a bit more sales, increase collectability, that sort of stuff. And then it got taken way too far. And I see some of that coming into the indie side of it as well now. Some of these campaigns having like 20 variants on it or something. It's a bit ridiculous. You're muted, Bruce. I don't know if you...
It's also real bad. I can't see that.
I'm trying to show you the Groken cover, but it's not working very well.
I usually have one. I usually have one within hand, but I don't think I do currently. He really has I really like he has his own style. He does his own thing.
Yeah, that's what I'm getting from this. He doesn't draw human. He doesn't draw human body frames. He draws obscure alien-like body frames.
Yep.
And interesting and unique.
Yeah, it's his own rendering technique as well that I just don't understand how he does it.
So it's Kenneth Rocafort.
That's right. Yeah, and I think he is in Puerto Rico. I think. Don't quote me on that.
No, that's what it said to me. It was Puerto Rican.
All right. What's the next question, Bruce?
Oh, I'm sorry. We got sidetracked. Here we go. Favorite food?
Hamburgers. But my wife's hamburgers. She makes the best homemade hamburgers. And,
what does she use that makes them so special?
And tell us more. Yes.
I don't know. They're just fresh. Like fresh like that. Sometimes when you go out, you get a hamburger from a place and it's kind of greasy and not as fresh as you want it to be. But no, we, and I get to pick. So she'll present all the stuff. She just and she makes a big, big fat thick patty that I like. So yeah, it's good.
Very good.
That's the other thing too. I think a good portion of fast food and even sit down restaurants use frozen patties.
Yeah,
and that's unacceptable.
They're thin and they're frozen, and you don't quite know what's in them. Whereas my wife gets the good meat, and she make good stuff in there. So yeah, it's good. I love them.
Well, let me ask you this: as far as like the fast food situation and burgers in Australia, do you think they could compete with America?
I have heard that it's better here. The food preparation, whatever laws and everything are a lot stricter here, and also what's actually in the food is a lot stricter as well. So
Hopefully,
yeah,
it'll be a
I
lot stricter here too soon.
hopefully soon. A lot of the things that I hear Americans complain about, it's not like that here. If you go to a McDonald's here, the burgers actually they're pretty good, and they're pretty well presented, and there seems to be care put into them and everything. So like, all
Really?
right, yeah,
That's funny because
they're still
I do
not
not go.
healthy,
Yeah,
but
I don't go to McDonald's.
yeah,
It's gross.
but I've seen. I only went to the States once. I didn't go to McDonald's, but I've seen videos of what people have received. I'm like, oh, that would if you got that in Australia, that you just sent it straight back. So I don't know, but no, I'll take my wife's hamburgers over any of them any day.
All right. Very good. Your favorite drink, alcoholic and non-alcoholic?
Non-alcoholic is my tea. I drink black tea all day. A weak black tea. Easy. That's pretty much all I drink. And then alcoholic, well, it has to probably be VB. But also I am impartial to like a Macallan single malt.
Nice. A whiskey man. I like that.
Yeah. I like
Very good.
yeah, I got into drinking whiskey about 10 years ago, and yeah, I'm sort of settled on any of the Scottish single malts after about like 12, 15-year-olds. I like it. I drink them neat, but I don't drink very often. I'm not a drinker. It's sort of more of a special occasion thing.
All right,
Very good.
we got Dustin chiming in here saying he broke his tooth on grout from Burger King. I mean, how does that even happen?
I'm a once a decade burger. Burger King, they call it Hungry Jacks here. There's a whole story behind it. But I get a Whopper maybe once a decade, and that's me satisfied. My craving for a Whopper. I'm not really looking to go back.
Don't do Burger King, and I don't do and I don't do McDonald's, but I will do Wendy's and White Castle from time to time. But
I don't understand anybody who eats White Castle, but I'm
We don't have
Western.
either here, so I wouldn't know.
Love White Castle, especially after a long night of hanging out and partying and drinking. Because
It's
those
what
belly bombers are great. They're greasy and they coat the stomach lining, and the bread absorbs all the alcohol.
It's what I've been told. That is the only way to eat White Castle is when you're
Mhm.
like really, really drunk.
Oh yeah. That's the same all world over. Some good greasy food after getting drunk. It really hits the spot.
Or if you have a hangover, get the biggest, greasiest eggs and bacon sandwich you can find. Bacon, egg, and cheese. Cures any hangover.
I try not to get hangovers anymore. I haven't had a hangover since I was 30, I don't think. My 30th birthday party, so it's been a while now.
Congratulations.
Like I said, I don't drink that much anymore. It's very much just a beer here or there or a whiskey,
Right. All right. So now, any genre again, we're going to ask your favorite character. Any genre. And you can't say your own.
No, I wouldn't say my own. I wouldn't say my own. Favorite
I
character.
think
Sherlock Holmes. Sherlock Holmes.
I think we've had that answer before.
Yeah, well, it's so unique in that he really carries the whole story, and he's still relevant. When did Sherlock was in the end of the 1800s, beginning of the 1900s, I think.
Yes.
They're still making Sherlock stories, and there's been hundreds of Sherlocks that aren't called Sherlock, different kind of characters. Like Dr. House was Sherlock Holmes. And no, I love him. I love all iterations of it. I love the stories. I've got a book of the original stories from the Strand, and he's really stood the test of time.
Very cool. Very cool. And the last question for fanboying for us, your favorite band.
See, you are killing me. I, if you knew me, um, you would know that is an impossible question. I listen to everything from Beethoven to heavy metal. My favorite band. All right, I'll say the band that I've enjoyed the most and I've gone to the most gigs for is Gomez. They're a British band from the early 2000s. I think they were popular until about, I don't know, the mid 2010s. And they're kind of like a ensemble musicians type band with two lead singers, and they just make good British kind of alternative rock music, I guess, maybe. Great
Yeah, they're
band.
listed. They're listed here as being an English indies rock band from Southport, Merseyside.
Hmm.
Merseyside.
They put out about 6 really great albums. I know all the songs on all of them, and they for some reason they're just really popular here in Australia, so they kept coming back, and I probably went to them every single time. So probably the band I've seen the most. And they do a great live show with all their instruments. They brought over crazy instruments, and they're just one for one song. It was really good band.
Well, yeah, when
That's
you say ensemble, I mean, was it one of the are they a huge band? Like, was it
When
like
they
a
do live
horse and
shows, the biggest I've seen them take up a massive stage with 20 people. um but the actual core band I think was about 4 or 5, but yeah, when they do live shows they would just go all out, and just really rock. And the singers, the lead singers' voices are just they're really powerful, so when you hear it live it's so much more than which when you're listening to your headphones.
I really love that a British band is called Gomez.
Yeah, I never really thought about it. I don't know why
It
they're called Gomez.
yeah, I'm like a very common last name in Mexico and
Yeah,
Southern
yeah, yeah,
California.
yeah. Yeah, I don't know what that's about.
but my go-to is the Adams family. My go-to is Gomez Adams, the Adams family.
Hmm.
Oh, I was just thinking the last name Gomez.
I know, but I go to Gomez Adams as the Gomez that I know. But I guess that makes me an old fart because I'm referencing an old '60s,
No,
'70s
that
black and
Wednesday
white.
show is back out again now, so
Dude, I watched the first 4 episodes of season 2, and I'm like, I want the next 4. And you got to wait another month till they release the
yeah, we
second
haven't
Where do
we
you
haven't watched
find
it.
this? I have not seen
Um,
it.
Netflix.
It's on Netflix,
Okay.
yeah. Yeah.
I'm gonna
Yeah.
try it out if you love it that much.
Season 1 will blow you away. Binge watch season 1, then watch season 2. And you're only
All
going to get
right.
the first 4 episodes of the 8 episode story arc. And it's freaking hysterical. There's so
Uh,
much humor, dark humor, twisted, macabre. It's just wild. It's really cool.
all right. Note
And it's funny as
taken.
hell.
Yeah, I enjoyed the first season, and it was one of the first shows that we watched with our daughter. So, because she's 13 now, so it's been a while. Like she was just old, just barely old enough when the first season came out to watch it.
Yeah. And Nem's all over that. He loves Wednesday too. Yeah. So talk about TV shows, and I don't mean to digress a little here, but I have to. There's actually, I believe he's an Australian actor, and he did a TV show called Mr. In Between.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
You know the show I'm talking about.
Yep.
Love that show. That was kind of like, I don't know if you ever saw Rescue Me.
No.
So Dennis Leary plays a sardonic
Oh
character.
yeah, yep. I'm familiar with it. I don't think I ever
Okay.
saw it, but I'm familiar with it. Yeah.
All right. So he plays a fireman, and he's all screwed up from 9/11 and from his own, neurotic tendencies, and he's just a basket case. He's like a loose cannon waiting to explode, and it's just that type of dichotomy with Mr. In Between and Dennis Leary's character on Rescue Me. they self-destruct all the time. They always self-destruct. They try to do the right thing by their own mental code, but then they wind up blowing things up in the end. So, love Mr. In Between. I was hoping they bring it back for season 3 or 4, and at this point in time, I guess it's done.
Yeah, we watched the first, I don't know, 3 or 4 episodes of it, and I can tell it's a brilliant show, and it's a brilliant character, and it's very well written. To me, though, I just found it so stressful because I was waiting for him to,
To
like blow up and something to happen, and I was like, I watch TV at the end of the night after I've worked all day. My wife and I were just hanging out. I'm looking to relax, so I was like, I was finding myself like stressed out before going to bed. I'm like, no, I recognize it's a great show, but I need something with a bit more levity.
Entertaining.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Even if it's a drama, get a bit of comedy in there so I can just relax a little bit, I don't want to watch these crazy shows.
Yeah. No, I hear Peaky Blinders. I binged watched all 6 seasons.
Yep.
Great show. The other one was called Warrior, which is based on the writings of Bruce Lee, and it's based on a character that mimics Bruce Lee's background, but
What about the immigrant in?
Yes.
Yeah, I've seen clips and it looks fantastic. I do want to watch that one.
That's really entertaining. It's very fun. Great show, great story. I wish they would have kept going with it, but I think they're done with it. Yeah. They get to a certain point, and then either somebody wants more money or the producer's got a problem, and then the thing goes sideways. So they try and tie off all loose ends as best as they can. Like with Peaky Blinders. Do you know
I'm sorry, Cillian Murphy's hot. He's very hot.
We watched up until season 4, I think, of Peaky Blinders, and for just whatever reason haven't seen the 5th one. So I don't know what happens at the end.
There's 5th and there's a 6th. There's 2 more episodes. So I don't want to spoil it for you, but I do want to tell you that the actress who played Aunt Peg died of breast cancer before they finished season 6.
Oh.
She didn't even make it to season 6. I think she made it into season 5, and they opened season 6 with her character's demise, and they did it in such a very unique way. I'll let you watch it and see the last 2 seasons, but you should definitely binge watch the last 2 seasons. But
yeah, we will.
I have to digress because we're done with Fanboy for us.
But you already digressed. Are you digressing again?
I'm digressing back into Fanboy. So thank you for playing along. We appreciate you, Michael. And I'm going to turn it back over to the boss lady. Go ahead.
Ooh, I'm taking back ownership of host position because I don't think we'd ever have guests if we said, hey, listen, it's always going to be like all these segments and we're not going to talk about your shit at all. The one thing we do not do is we don't really scroll campaigns, but I know you have a live one now for your 3rd book in the Lucent, which is a prequel.
That's correct. So it's a bit confusing. It's the 3rd book I've put out, but it's not the 3rd book in the series. So I put out book 1 and 2, and now I'm doing a prequel book while I work.
So it's a regression. It's a regression to what the origin is. Is that?
It's in the first book you meet the 2 main characters. They're already in a relationship. They've already met. They know each other. You don't know them yet as the reader, but they know each other. So I thought, while I'm working on the other things, I'll hire an artist to help me tell this other side of the story that, I wanted to hit the ground running with my series and just sort of dive right into the action. But this is still a important story to tell, and it's really important for the character development and everything. So I thought this is a great chance to have a bit of an action sequence, introduce a bit more of the complexity of the characters and everything. So yeah, I thought let's do this prequel comic. And I've never done just a comic before. All my others are so this is my 2nd one. You can see, you were talking earlier about doing the perfect binding. This is a thick 100-page book. So this is the first time I'll be doing a actual saddle-stitched comic book. Which is exciting.
Very nice. Okay.
Yeah.
Well, that was the thing too, because actually, before I even get into that, I'm going to make myself a note to get back to my thought. But uh, uh, I love for my guests to talk, like basically give your best elevator pitch. I'm sure you have one developed for what the Lucent is. Like, what is it?
I my elevator pitch is terrible. Because
Okay.
I'm on the inside of it, and The Lucent is very much a mystery story. But there's a fella out there called Crenshaw who did a review of The Lucent, and I'm gonna read what he said because I thought that is a brilliant summation of the story so far, and I've got it listed on my website. And it goes like this. It says, when your dreams in the real world become indistinguishable from each other, you may be one of the Lucent. It's from the minds of me, the Lucent. It's a atmospheric comic about a young woman with the ability to manipulate dreams in amazing ways. However, when the barrier between dreams and reality become more fragile than you can imagine, the arcane forces, both good and evil, long to use Ella's gifts to their own ends. That really sums up what is happening in the Lucent. You are along with Ella. She is the sort of really the main character, and she is finding herself in this crazy world that extends back to the ancient times with ancient. I love that word, arcane forces, both good and evil. And when you read the story, you find out you've got two sort of opposing forces trying to fight to get their hands on this girl and her amazing abilities.
Would you say good and evil, or just two opposing
Two
forces?
opposing forces. I do present I do present the cases for both sides in the story. Now, I think it is still a traditional story, though. She is against one side more than the other for good reason, but they would argue they're working for the greater good. A lot of these themes, I think we see play out in the real world. Most people end up doing what I consider pretty evil things, whereas they're thinking they're doing it for the greater good. So that's definitely present in the story.
Well, okay. So that description that you had just, expressed, that was written by somebody else, not you.
Yeah,
Um, is that on your website?
it is on my website. Yeah.
Okay. So, I realized today when I'm like hurriedly, I usually try to do more research before the actual show day,
Mhm.
but today I'm like, oh shit, Michael has his first issue on Global Comics for free. I'm
Yep.
I'm gonna go read it. And then I realized I had brought it up probably 6 months ago and started reading it, got distracted, and never went back to it. So I read it all today. And I'm like, what the fuck's going on here? What's going on? And I think I came because then I went back to her website and and I think I read that.
Yep.
And I was like, oh, makes much more sense now. That I
It.
think is why you should really have a great elevator pitch and put it on your website. It's for
Yeah.
people that are like just curious, like what the hell's going on here?
Exactly. The way I wrote the Lucent is I wanted to throw readers in to the deep end, and they are just in there with her because the main character as well is in that state of what the hell is happening here. So you
Yeah.
kind of go along that ride with her, and then the second book really fleshes out a lot of that stuff as well. But it is at the core, it is very much a thriller. It's very much a mystery. I don't. There's no Lord of the Rings style exposition at the start, detailing the ancient wars between this and that. You're kind of learning it as you go.
You
So
get a tiny taste, I think,
you get
at
a
the
tiny
very
taste.
beginning.
The way I look at it is, as you read, I'm giving you pieces of a puzzle. You don't know what the puzzle looks like that you're making, but you're trying to put them together here and there. And if you've read the first book, you'll know I'm jumping from, you know, 6,000 years ago forward to the current time, and there doesn't seem to be yet any connection between them. There is a connection, but that gets revealed as the story as the story progresses. So, it is a little bit, for first time readers, they're like, whoa, I don't know what's happening. I'm intrigued. But, as you continue, more of that information, more of those pieces come together and you start to see how the threads connect.
Right. And so here's the other thing that I came across because I was a little confused and you did touch on it earlier is you're an artist yourself and you're
Mm-hmm.
writing the book. I was like, why did he hire an artist? Being an indie when you can't being an indie when you can actually handle as much as you can, I know is like I think maybe the way to go, but you had said, here's a story that I wanted to do,
Mm-hmm.
and I have somebody to handle it. Was that something that you planned from the beginning?
No, no. When I did the crowdfund for the first one, and it did really well, I was like, okay, well, where do we want to go with this? We've made a bit of money here. The channel is making a bit of money. What do I want to do with this? Let's think of things we can do. And one of the thoughts was, the world I've built is very expansive, but the story I'm telling is more focused on, one or two characters mostly. But there's a lot going on out there. Now I will continue writing and drawing the main story, but at the same time I would love to do other connected stories. And so I had the idea, all right, well, let's maybe find some artists that I think would fit with the book, and maybe add in these extra, you can call them side stories, supplementals, one shots, whatever you want to call them, that are tied in with the universe, that add a lot to it, but aren't part of what is the main book series, that main arc. They're connected and stuff like that. So in the future, I would love to do another one, maybe set in a different time with different characters, that is part of the Lucent story but not part of that main story.
Okay, so from what I gather, the Lucent is your first dipping your toe into doing like visual storytelling through like a graphic novel, comic.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Okay.
Yep.
Give us a little background on how you arrived there. What
Yeah,
happened?
sure.
Why'd
Yeah,
you go
well,
crazy?
I don't know. Well, I do know. I do know. So I had the premise, the idea for it, back when I was, probably when I was a kid, because I've always been a bit of a crazy dreamer. I used to have really vivid recurring nightmares when I was a kid. And then I taught myself to realize I was dreaming and sort of fight back in the nightmare. And
You lucid dream?
yeah, absolutely. Even when
Nice.
I was a little kid. So, and then I sort of realized, oh, I can keep doing this. And I was into comics as well. So it's like, this is kind of like a superpower. I get to be this all-powerful type being. And I was learning and I was getting better. And I was like, this is really cool. So I had this idea, like, what if this was, some sort of unlocking some latent power in humans or something. So, okay, there's an idea here. I didn't really know what to do with it. It was just sort of fermenting there. And then, as the years went on, and I was seeing cool movies, The Matrix is one of them. There's a whole bunch of others as well. And I was like, oh, okay, I can sort of see how this can develop into a story. I started writing. And I didn't know what it was going to be. I was just writing to get what was in my head into something that was something like a story. I wrote, I don't know how much, somewhere between 150,000 to 200,000 words of just learning to write. It was pretty terrible, unreadable nonsense, but at least the story started to form. And that's where I was in 2014, where I had this story, but it just wasn't working. It wasn't going anywhere. And then I picked up, actually, I've got it right here. I was in France. My wife is French, and I had no idea these existed. These bande dessinée hardcover type comic books, but not like comic books like I knew growing up, like Spider-Man and Spawn or anything. These were, let me see if I can open it to a page. These look different. It was more,
Wow.
detailed art. It was more
You know that I'm sorry, Michael, just stay on that front page
yeah.
because there was one page in your free comic that you have over there on Global Comics. Absolutely inspired by that.
Oh, 100%. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Totally.
I'm like,
I
wow,
saw this.
wow, that was inspired exactly from this.
Yeah, I saw this and it was like lightning struck into my brain. I saw my story, how it needed to be presented. So from the moment I was standing in a supermarket next to these are sold next to like shampoo and stuff. And all of a sudden it all clicked into place. So I decided then and there, okay, my story needs to be a comic. And as soon as I started reworking it with the visuals on a page and everything clicked into place. And I could get rid of things that weren't necessary and I could continue on. It was more focused. And so that happened at the end of 2014. So I was like, all right, I guess I better learn how to draw a comic. And that was what I was doing in 2015 and I've been going ever
Well,
since.
obviously you have the skill. You're an illustrator.
Yeah,
You can
I've
tell
always
in
done
your
art, so I didn't just
Yeah.
start from scratch in 2015. I've always drawn and stuff. Yeah.
Okay. But not necessarily in comic form
No,
until then.
no, never before. The first panel I ever drew, the first comic panel I ever drew, like actually, with purpose. I'm not just talking about tracing Spider-Man when I was 10 years old. I mean, actually, for a original thing was this one right here on the first page of the first book. That was the first
Okay.
panel I ever drew. And I just started drawing it in order. And yes, this is like, that was the first page I ever drew, and then bang and off to the races. And it was just kind of a learn on the job situation. If I came across something that I didn't know how to draw, I would just look it up and see how someone else had done it and essentially kind of copy how they did it. And still going strong.
Okay, so 2023 was when you
Mhm.
released the first book or when you crowdfunded it? How does
I
that
think it
all
was a bit earlier than that. I think
Okay.
2023 was when I did the second edition. That was when I launched my own website. So I did put out the first one. So I didn't go jump straight into crowdfunding. I actually went to Tapas and Webtoon first, started uploading there, which was a really good experience. I actually got a ton of followers over there and got really good feedback. And that kind of gave me the confidence that there was something in this story. So once I started getting that feedback, and then crowdfunding was booming and blowing up, I'm like, all right, maybe it's time I kind of throw my hat in the ring and see if I can get this thing printed into a book. And I think it was around 2021, 22. I can't quite remember now.
Okay,
But
so that's how you grew your audience at
Yeah,
first, was with webtoons?
Oh, well, I grew an audience, but then, when the crowdfunding kind of happened, then I grew it then I sort of came over to YouTube because I wasn't doing YouTube back then. When I was doing Webtoon, it was really just on Webtoon, and Webtoon was fantastic for me. They were like promoting my story and everything, but I found out that the Webtoon free comic reading crowd aren't necessarily interested in backing crowdfunds. A little bit, but not that much. So yeah, it's sort of like different spheres. So I kind of had to rebuild the audience starting around 2020, I think.
So you've been a YouTuber for a while.
Yeah. I think since 2019, I think, maybe.
Okay, that explains why you're so comfy being by yourself and just interacting with the chat. I think that kind of stuff comes with practice.
Oh yeah, I'm a 100% introvert. I mean, I'm probably
No,
you would
you're not.
classify a hardcore
Quiet
introvert.
you.
No, I actually am. And so I remember watching other people, start their channels and everything. Really famous people like Yellow Flash and Tug, that umbrella guy. I remember, watching their channels when they had, a couple of hundred subs or a couple of thousand subs, and thinking, I've got to do the same thing. If I want to get out there and really, get myself out there. I'm going to have to do it. So I bought myself a camera. I bought myself a microphone, and they just sat there on my shelf for probably 2 years. And I just trying to, I thought if I bought it, I'll use it, but I didn't. It really took me a long time. And the first video I ever did, I had my young daughter there with me as sort of like a crutch, so I was talking to someone. Because the idea of talking to a camera was just, not going to happen. So it's been, yeah.
I was just going to say, it's why I made my show this way. I need to talk to people.
Yeah.
Like actual people.
And my first ever live streams, I would have whole panels. I would have 10 people on there. It took me a long time. It took me, many, many, many hundreds of shows to get comfortable to just put my camera on and talk at my computer. Many, many shows. And I still, every single time, every single stream, I'm like sweating, and like it doesn't ever get any easier. But I definitely feel a lot more comfortable. I can just riff and hang, and because I feel like I know people now. Like you mentioned the chat, I feel like I know the chat. I don't feel like, oh, I'm introverted and meeting new people. No, I know these people in the chat. We hang out almost every day.
Well, and on that note, we have KSSSSSSS saying you're comfortable being by yourself, and for being mocked relentlessly for rollerblading.
I'm proud of my rollerblading past. Very proud of it. You do your magazine. I did a rollerblading magazine in the early mid 2000s. Yeah, rollerblading was the biggest thing in the world in the mid 90s. Started the X Games, was in everything, and then it just died. But there was still a lot of kids doing it, and I was still doing it. But there was no media for it. So I thought, I'll start a little local zine. So I did that, and this was before crowdfunding, before it was easy to have a website, before it was easy to print. So it was very expensive, and it did have to go under. But no, I'm proud. We put out about 7 issues, and
that's not bad for a zine.
Yeah, for a little self-funded zine. I'm proud of that. And no, I did have to give up the rollerblading though when I broke my arm for the last time. I was 29.
I'm super happy that rollerblading was brought up, because I didn't know that about you at all, but I was looking for like a I didn't want to ask you for a selfie. I'm like, this guy's online, I'm going to like grab something from his stream. But then I'm like clicking through your channel, and you have, your opening and you're rollerblading. And I'm like, I don't know why, but that works for me.
Yeah, it's like a culmination of a lot of my different memes. So one day, Don Chin sent me a pirate shirt for some reason. He didn't even tell me he was going to send it, and I didn't know it was him. So I got a pirate shirt. I chucked it on. I stood in front of, I had my wife take a photo. I said, who the hell sent me this pirate shirt? And eventually it came out it was Don Chin. And that became a meme. And, I like these ice creams that have a very innuendo-based name here in Australia called the Golden Gay Time. So all of these things are just memes. So I'm rollerblading in my driveway, in my pirate shirt, drinking a VB, eating a Golden Gay Time. And that's why that intro is what it is.
Okay, I have to relate a story, because you said shirt many times. Shirt, right?
Yeah.
In your accent. I worked at a camp once in Pennsylvania where the survival lady and me became friends. Like, we had a great time together. But because I was the photographer at the camp, and I'm sitting there, and she's like teaching kids how to light fire with flint and all this. Really cool girl. But she sees a kid and he's wearing a shirt, right? And she's like, I like your shock shit. I like your shock shit. And he's like, what? She's like, I like your shock shit. And like everybody there is like, what the fuck is she saying? And she's like, and she points to his chest. I like your shock shit. And I'm like, oh, she's saying shark shirt. She likes her shark shirt. And then she's like,
is she Aussie?
Yeah, your shark shirt. Anyway, that's my Australian story.
That's the non-rhotic in us. We don't like the R's in the middle of words. Although strangely enough, we like to say things like, instead of manga, we say manger. I don't know why we do that.
Really?
Yeah, it's weird. I don't pretend to understand it, but yeah, we don't say. We'll say car. You know, we won't say car. We definitely don't put an R on the end of a word. That's not happening.
Well, I mean, there's those same similar types of things like in the Boston accent,
Mm.
park the car in the
Yeah,
garage.
non-rhotic. That's what it's called. Yeah.
Hmm.
We
Anyway,
reject your R's.
we got very, very far off track from talking about the Lucent. You want to talk
That's all
about it
right.
more? You've got 2 weeks left, and you're doing pretty well.
Yep, no, doing very well, doing very well. Especially when I look out there at how other people are going, I feel very blessed. We've got what am I sitting on? 277 backers. Yeah, what I will say, the different thing about my campaign to a lot of other people, others, is I do it on my own website, and that came about because I was just kind of fed up with Indiegogo as a site. I know that they've since merged with another website, so I'm hoping that that's going to turn things around for them. But I really like and am proud of my own having my own website. I get to do things my own way, structure it how I like it to be structured.
I would
And
assume, actually, considering you're doing that well on your own domain, that is a major flex
yeah, I
to
think
get
so as
people to
well.
go where
Yeah,
you
because
are.
I've seen other people try it and not succeed, and I put that down to the fact that I do have a very healthy sort of YouTube presence and community there, who will just like they don't mind. They'll go wherever, and they're used to my website now. This is the fourth campaign I've run on my site. I did the second chance for my first book. I did my second book. I did some trading cards, and now I've done this prequel book. And they've all gone off without a hitch. There's pros and cons, obviously, like there is with anything. But I'm pretty happy with how it's all gone. And the way I do it, considering it is my own website and it is technically an online store, is I run the campaigns and I offer bundles. So, you get the book bundles or multiple book bundles. You get a t-shirt, an ash can, and a book bundle. And they're all discounted. So they get, like $5 off or something, or if it's a bigger one, $10 off. And once the campaign ends, all those bundles go away. And it's just the product. So, you're going to have to put it in your cart. It's all going to add up. You're going to pay a little bit more. And that's my way of, essentially encouraging and thanking people for backing early. Yeah.
That makes sense. Smart marketing, on
And it's something
offering
that it's something that I can do because I got it on my own site. You can't really do that on Indiegogo or Kickstarter because they sort of lock you into your perks. That's what it is. And but so these are the sort of things that I can do. I can also make it so if you back again, just say you back the book and then you were like, oh, I forgot to get the t-shirt or I wanted the ash can. You can add it and it won't be like double shipping. You'll pay no extra shipping, maybe you'll pay just a couple of extra bucks. It depends on how much the thing weighs. I can do all that. It's a website. It's 2025, They
Right.
have the technology to do that sort of stuff.
Yeah,
As
absolutely.
opposed to, Indiegogo where it's like just keeps stacking on.
I only had to highlight this because KSS is actually having a serious moment, and he's saying that you're easily one of the most professional and affable people in the comic book industry. Listen, I'm a very competitive person, and I aim to take this title from Michael. Okay.
Most affable. Yeah, I try. I don't know if that's accurate, but thank you, KSS. I try to be. I do definitely have a philosophy of the internet where I'm not here to argue with anyone. I'm not here to fight with anyone. If people want to argue, I don't treat it like real life. I don't. If someone comes up and says something to you in your face, down at the shops, that's a different thing where you're face to face. On the internet, words are cheap. If someone says something, just forget about it. Just whatever. You just look away. Like it's not anything you need to get into a fight over. So that's sort of my approach to the internet, and it's served me well so far. I mean, I'm not saying I don't occasionally get caught into the internet dramas that go on out there, but I do try to keep it just focused. I'm here I'm here to tell stories. I'm here to make books. I'm here to enjoy, my time, same as everyone else. So that's the way I operate.
Well, now, as far as you illustrating your own book from book 1 and 2 and now 3rd, you hired an illustrator to help you out on this. Do
Mhm.
you do a lot of buildings? I've heard, because I'm not an illustrator myself, buildings are a son of a bitch
No, I
and
love them.
suck. It seems like you love
No, they're
them.
the best. They're the best. It's the same. It's the same way that I loved maths in high school. I loved maths, and I loved it because everything else I did was literature and psychology or art. Graphic design, where there's no right or wrong answer. In art, like, you make a piece and your art teacher might like it or hate it, and there's no rhyme or reason. It's because art is subjective and literature is subjective. But in maths, you're either right or you're wrong. And I found that so relaxing. I found that so not easy, but just and I get the same thing with buildings. When you draw a building, you either draw it right or you draw it wrong. But when you're drawing characters' expressions and faces and dynamic poses, there's look, some people get fixated on anatomy or whatever, but if you draw a real kick-ass character and the anatomy is a bit off, no one cares. But I find that stuff really difficult. I find the dynamic comic book stuff really hard, and I really respect artists who can just fluently make these dynamic poses and amazing expressions and everything. For me, I always found the technical drawing stuff it just came to me naturally, and I really enjoy it. I get into a zen mode and I'm just like, I'm drawing these buildings, I've got this perspective, and it just I get a kick out of it.
And KSS is basically giving you shit on how you said math.
Yeah, in Australia we call it maths. I don't know why. In the US it's math, here it's maths. I don't know why we add the plural, but it is what it is.
Okay, now see, I just thought we were being funny over here in the United States calling it maths, but we're just
you're copying
out of you guys.
Exactly, you're just making fun of us. I don't know where it comes from. Like we say it's mathematics, and we just shorten that to maths. Whereas I guess you guys see it a bit differently. I have been called out on that quite a lot.
All right. Well, thank you, KSS, for bringing this bullshit over to Creative Chaos.
Now
important. Michael's mad at me.
No, never be mad. That's another rule on the internet. Don't get mad on the internet. It's not worth
well, you know what's funny that you bring that up again is you've said it a couple of times, and I think it might be time for us to go into our mansplain segment because I have questions.
Sure.
About being mad in internet and being popular on the internet. So, cause if we can get into mansplain, let's do these.
Shh. Listen, girl.
I don't know why Cause shows the most aggressive singer.
Was that Rasputin? What was that?
That was The Great. It's on Hulu. Highly recommend. Hilarious satire, like very, very well written and also well produced. Like the costumes and sets are mwah. Go watch
it. The Great? Is that what you said?
The Great on Hulu. It's about a satirical retelling of the rise of the Catherine the Great in power. Okay. And she basically takes her husband down and all this. It's very, very funny. And there's boobies in it. So
sounds great. Sounds literally great.
If that's what sells you on it, go watch it for the boobies. But the writing and everything else is phenomenal. Anyway, all right. So you were talking about. Here's my question with you. So you're dealing in the indie community, and you're very popular. Actually, when I didn't even tell one of my friends that I had you on. I don't even remember how he found out, but he texts me and goes, wow, you're having Michael Bancroft on? That's awesome. People say he's this and that, blah, blah. I'm like, I've heard all of that. All I had to do was ask, right? And obviously, you're still getting backers without choosing a side or getting involved in drama. Tell us how we do it, because I want to be like that. Explain,
the
mansplain.
the pressure to take sides in internet wars, you know, CG versus Rippaverse, or this streamer versus that streamer, is pretty intense, and it's you know, you feel it. Even you feel it from people who you don't know, and you feel it even from your friends too.
Oh, from
But
your friends, huh?
yeah, because you know, you become, what happens is, and you know, you become friendly with people. You know, you hang out on their shows, they come on your show, and you create a sort of a quasi, you know, internet relationship. You become kind of pals with people, but that doesn't mean you're 100% in lockstep with everything they think, and that's what happens on the internet. You know, people for some reason can't countenance having differing opinions. And if you are seen associating with someone, then you're seen to, oh, you must agree with him on all these things. And you really just have to draw a line in the sand and just kind of say, no, I'm not getting involved. And people are going to call you, you know, a fence sitter or whatever. But you just have to kind of walk your own path. And I've had those awkward conversations, those awkward streams where I've had to say, look, I can't do what I need to do, which is make my comic. And it's a huge amount of energy that goes into being creative.
Yeah.
And internet fighting is a huge energy suck. It's entertaining to watch. It can be if you're not involved.
And do you?
Yeah, I watch, you know, slap fights here and there. As you know, it's just kind of like, I also like to keep up on what is sort of happening out there. I don't like to be completely in the dark. But it is entertaining, I'm not going to lie. But at the same time, I don't take it seriously. And I don't take it seriously, I think, because I do my best to try to not get involved. You will get dragged into it, and you just have to sort of...
Oh, have you?
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Okay, give me one example, because I'm sure it's out there and people know anyway. I'd love to know, or at least the most egregious example where even you were like, I think I might be taking a little offense at this.
No, you don't even have to be taking offense. That's the sad thing. You know, I've given opinions. Or, you know, what'll happen is you know, a lot of this starts on Twitter, because you're typing on Twitter and there's no tone, there's no intonation, so people will read into your words. So what you're saying is, oh, did you mean this? And I've gotten myself into hot water by saying things because I'm thinking something and I'm writing it down, and everyone is reading something different. So for instance, I said at one point that we had a really good network of cross promotion going, where everyone was kind of cool with each other for a long time, but human nature, you know, always wins out, and that sort of went away. And some people interpreted me as that being like an attack on Comicsgate, and I was like, I'm saying that, you know, people form cliques, people form groups, and then those cliques start fighting. And when that happens, it's just not as open as it was in the past. And anyone who's been around indie comics for any amount of time can tell you that, say, in 2019, you could go all over the place. People would jump on all kinds of different streams, and it wasn't really an issue. Now it's a lot more clicky. And it's sort of like everyone knows, you know, the art of war, divide and conquer. If it's all clicks, then the network has less overall reach, has less power, has less influence.
Yeah,
And
well, and that's the thing. Is that
Human
something? Is that something that, because that's how I feel. In fact, in a backstage one time, I went into because I'm super passionate mostly just about people creating independently,
Mhm.
right? And it bums me out. It actually does bum me out to see factions form. And, it's a tiny, the indie publishing scene is a tiny niche
Yeah.
anyway. And then to
Niche
see it
within a
just like,
niche.
yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. And to see it dwindle away to, you know, nothing. And also kind of be a fucking self parody, of look, here's these people standing up, but they can't even fucking get along. It bums me out. Like, so I was in a backstage once and started fucking crying about it, and another kind of popular indie creator was like, "Oh, that's so cute." And I'm like, "Don't make fun of me." And he's like, "No, like I don't see this passion that often in independent comics anymore. I think everybody like it's basically like just seems like a demoralizing
Yeah, yeah,
scene."
no, I know exactly what you're saying. I think I myself even have succumbed to becoming a little bit jaded by what goes down. But I'm not surprised. I've been involved in YouTube communities for a very long time. Um, you know, and they've all sort of, what ends up happening is these factions form and they turn on each other and they turn on the insular and they sort of the purity spiraling. You're not this enough, so you have to be dragged, and you're wrong, and and it's just what happens. It's what happens. So I've kind of become jaded in the sense that I know it is eventually going to happen, no matter how positive things begin. Eventually, this sort of stuff creeps into any online community. So I just sort of accepted, all right, well, I don't have any power to change human nature. So all I can do is focus on what I'm in control of, which is my own book and my own channel and my own interests. So that's what I do. And, if I see people arguing out there, I just don't get involved. I have opinions. I have opinions like everyone else. I just don't feel the need to blast them all over the internet all the time, because I know it's going to ultimately be a distraction from what I'm trying to do.
Yeah.
And
Well, I
that's
mean,
just how I see it.
given our entire conversation within the mansplain segment here, what would be your best advice to people, that want to sidestep it,
Just,
and not be
yeah,
involved?
just focus on your own stuff. And like, I think it might be a personality thing. I have a very
Affable.
affable, if you want to say, or I'm not easily riled up anyway. If someone comes to me to insult me, I don't get red hot and think I need to defend myself, especially if they do it on the internet. My reaction is probably just going to be to chuckle and then move on with my day. So that's, not everyone is like that, I understand. But my advice to everyone would just be, just focus on what you're making and what you're doing, because that's what actually matters. That's what it actually is, the content. The sort of gossiping and everything is sort of like, can be a funny distraction, but it's not actually content. The content is, stories, and that's what brought people to this in the first place. Is they wanted good stories and good comics and good art and all that sort of stuff. So, I just say, well, look, even if being an indie person means you're not going to be, you are by definition not mainstream. You are not as popular, and so you're going to talk about indie stuff and everything. It's not going to be as popular. It's not going to get the big, numbers and limelight that a lot of the other things will. But at least it's something that you love and you have some sort of control over, and you can build an audience who are interested in what you're doing and your story and your art. It may not be a massive one, but at least they are there for you, and I think that is incredibly valuable. So that's what I would say. Just like, I think there's Phil Diaz has a clip of Simon Bisley saying something very similar, but very succinctly and wittily in his cool accent. He says, "Just focus on your own shit and stop caring about what everyone else is doing."
Okay, I will clip that in your wonderful accent. All right. Well, that concludes our mansplain segment. And we're going to get into my favorite segment. It's my favorite way to get to know our guest.
Mhm.
We hide it in here at the end because it's terrible. We're going to get into
Okay.
conspiracy corner. Are you ready to tell me how big of a conspiracy theorist you are, Michael?
Yes.
Let's
Yes, I am.
I wanna live with a conspiracy girl. I could be prepping the rest of my life with a conspiracy girl.
Those weren't aliens.
I
Oh,
almost
I like
lost
it.
my hat.
Yeah.
This is
Very
what
important.
this is what protects us from the YouTube censors, but I don't think it works very well. Because
You can only try.
I will see our reviews at the end of a night, and it's pretty good. And the next day they're cut in half, but I'm
Mm.
still saying it works. All right, so we are here in Creative Chaos Conspiracy Corner. I have no idea how much of a conspiracy theorist you are, but you seem to be kind of a freedom-minded, liberty-oriented type of individual, which
Very much. Yes.
basically it makes you a conspiracy theorist.
It's my mug there.
Oh, I did. Thank you, because I've been noticing that all night, and that is an American flag, and you has
Gadsden
not
flag,
shown
yeah.
me, has it?
Yeah, I got that in where was it? Or St. Augustine when I was over in Florida. Got that at a Bucky's. Had to pick that up. We don't sell these here. Unfortunately, we need a lot more of it.
All right. KSS is getting ahead of us because we have not spun the wheel yet, but he is saying the cornucopia was on the Fruit of the Loom logo. Do you remember that?
I don't specifically. No, it does. It rings a bell, but no, I wouldn't say specifically.
All right. Well, maybe that's more of an American
I know stovetop stuffing is an
Mandela
American
effect.
thing, but I do remember the cornucopia on the logo, but I don't remember exactly how.
I think almost everybody remembers it
Mm.
because we got Cranberry Langler saying he remembers it too, or she. I don't know if you're a he or a
That's a
she.
he. Cranberry's a he.
Thank you. Are you sure?
Yes, I've heard.
Okay.
Yes.
Well, I've heard that we shouldn't be assuming genders, but anyway, so Michael, we are now in conspiracy corner, and we have this handy dandy wheel to kind of spark a conversation. And Cosmic Grandpa's going to bring that up right now, and I'm going to explain how it works. So this is our wheel of conspiracy. The way it works is you get 3 spins.
Mm-hmm.
You can choose to stay with topic 1 or topic 2 if you want to spin again. But if you choose to spin a third time, you're stuck with that topic no matter what it is.
Yep.
Okay. This is why I love having creative people on, especially writers, because even if you're stuck with topic 3, it doesn't matter if you really know what it is. You can just make up a story.
Okay.
All right. Do you understand how the wheel works?
I do. Let's do it.
All right. Well, the last person said they understood and they completely made me change all the rules, but that's okay because the wheel is also fluid. All right. So are you ready to spin the wheel?
Spin it.
Let's do it. I love free energy. I love the topic of free energy, but that's because I have deep dove or dived. Is it dove or dived? I think it's dove into Tartaria.
Given.
I don't know if you know anything about that.
I know a little bit. I don't know if I know enough though. What are we going to be doing? We're having an in-depth discussion on free energy.
Really, these things are kind of conversation starters. Topics that I've put on the wheel have gone completely off of why I put them on
Yeah.
the wheel, and I learn new things. So it really is up to you.
Well, okay, so you love free energy, so it sounds like you know a lot about it. I didn't know a whole lot about it, but I also like the idea of just spinning the wheel again.
All right,
Because I
let's
am a
do
bit
it.
of a gambler.
Okay. Ooh, this is exciting. Oh, wow. We can go on for days about this, I'm sure.
All right, now, hear me out. We could. I feel like I have spoken about this topic ad nauseum for the last 5 years.
Oh, have you? But not on this channel.
On this channel,
Oh,
but
here's a side thing. If you want to say a couple words before spinning the wheel, you absolutely can.
I find vaccines to be a very kind of like fresh wound, and also you know, I don't know if it's as I don't know if it's a fun topic. So being the gambler, I say let's just spin it again, and we'll be stuck. Let the
None
wheel
of these
turn.
are fun topics. They're
No,
all
they are. I can
terrible.
see them. I can see that some of them are
Well,
fun.
maybe
So
Bigfoot.
yeah, lizard people looks fun. Let's do it, and let's force the wheel to choose for
All
us.
right, he's gambling, you guys. You heard it from his mouth. He's sticking with the third topic. No matter what it is.
Come on. Skinwalker.
Skinwalkers. This is literally the next parody done in Flip City Magazine
Oh,
is
that's good.
The Secret of Skinwalker Ranch.
Yeah, I heard
We're
you guys talking
parodying
about
that.
Skinwalker Ranch. Now, I don't know a hell of a lot about Skinwalkers. I've read some comics with them in it, but you know, I'm happy to be a bit more educated. I think there is a famous Australian Skinwalker legend, but again, I don't really know too much about it, unfortunately.
Well, what do you know about the famous Australian Skinwalker?
Oh, just that it's a thing. I know that the Aboriginals are very superstitious and have a lot of paranormal, you know, things in their culture and stuff. They believe in jinns and ghouls and things like that walk out in the bush. But I didn't, you know, if you press me on a definition of a skinwalker, what it is specifically, I don't know if I could tell you exactly what a skinwalker is.
Okay, well, do your best of what you believe a skinwalker might be, and then I'm going to tell you a story.
Okay. Well, I would imagine that a skinwalker, just based off its name, is a creature that walks around in the, you know, skin of something else that it isn't, whether it's like another human or a different animal or something. And I don't know if anyone is supposed to know what that being is. I don't know. That's my best guess.
Okay. I think you're close, and I'm going to just give you an anecdotal story. And this is why I like Conspiracy Corner, is because I get to expose myself for being the crazy person I am. So I do live in the mountains of Southern California, and we have hiking trails everywhere. And there's one hiking trail that I would take my dog on all the time. And often enough, as we're walking the trail, and in fact, this is confirmed by both my husband and my daughter that I've on different occasions walked this trail with the dog. There was always this, not always, often enough though, there was a dude that we would come across on the trail, and he'd never say a word. And I think the weirdest, well, there's two weird experiences, but before this, the main one, there was an experience where we were walking, there was snow on the ground. And we walk the trail, come back, leaving the trail, and the guy walks by, and there's snow on the ground. He's in pajama pants, bare feet, and no shirt. And it's the guy we've seen lots of times. He never talks, and it's very strange. And he's
Mhm.
got all this snot running out of his nose. Like, it was a little scary, but like,
Yeah.
I'm confident because I have my dog there. Like, my dog's not gonna let anything happen. But it was very strange. And I'm like, oh, that's weird. Then months
And
go
gross.
by. Yeah, and gross, right? Months go by, and then it happens again. Me and my dog run into this guy, and then pass. And also, I would say what humans would normally say, like, "Hey, how's it going?"
Yeah, yeah. Even
He'd
if you
never
just
really
make
say
eye
hello
contact.
back. It was just
Yeah.
weird, right? So we pass, we continue walking on the trail. There's a human poop. My dog eats it. Gross. And I'm like, ew, that guy just pooped. Then there's also, as like kind of like a marking of the trail, a bunch of rocks, right? But then you still have to go like another quarter mile,
Mhm.
outside of the trail. We go on the other side of the rocks, we keep walking, and there was something that told me to turn around after we passed the guy. And right on the other side of the rocks is a young coyote looking at us, smile, like it's literally smiling like this. And this was not a thought in my own head. I swear it felt like it just got beamed in. And
Zapped in.
it said Skinwalker. And I'm like, oh, that guy's a Skinwalker.
So he's a coyote that walks around as a human from time to time.
Or vice versa,
Or
a
vice
human.
versa.
Yeah. A
Yeah, because
human that
there's like skinwalking is like a very Native American thing, isn't it? There's a lot of that.
well, I think so. Well, like you had said, the Aboriginal,
Yeah.
in
Yeah.
Australia, it's, I think, a very similar thing. These natives that have spent a lot of time actually like connecting with the earth and living more naturally seem to have this lore attached.
Remember that woman on the plane? Like, this motherfucker isn't real.
Yes.
Maybe
I
that was a
do.
skinwalker who had to catch a flight.
Maybe, but you
I don't know what skinwalkers are up to. What they need. Oh.
Sorry, it had to die there for 1 second. I see Bruce back.
I've been listening in the whole time. I'm listening. I'm enjoying this.
Okay. So also our wonderful producer, Cause, says, I do have control of the wheel because, Michael, I gotta say, that was a little disappointing.
Because I don't know about
Yeah,
skinwalkers.
yeah, exactly. So I'm giving you a free spin.
Okay.
We gotta dive in a little bit deeper in conspiracy.
Yeah, I would like to have my own anecdote. Because I have had weird stuff happen, but I've never seen anyone that I would consider a skinwalker.
Okay, well, let me ask you this: would you prefer another spin, or would you prefer just to go back to our regular
What did
screens
we
and
have?
tell
We
us an
had
anecdote
what was the first
of
one?
your weirdness?
What was the first one that we did? I can't remember.
I don't know. Vaccines was
No,
second.
vaccines was second.
It was free energy, but we can spin again as well.
Yeah,
Or you
spin
can.
again, because I don't have any anecdotes of either of those, really.
But I'm just saying, you can just pick out of the air. I mean, it kind of seems to me like you might have a story to tell. So we don't have to spin, and you can just tell us your story.
I'm looking. I've got to try to turn my head here.
You kind of, with your looking, I'm looking.
Human potential. See, and that ties into my book too, because I have a pretty wild story.
All right, you guys, listen. We've never done this before in the history of the conspiracy wheel. Is let the person actually look at the entire wheel and just choose something I'm
I know
letting
you
Mike
said
do it
you know
tonight.
the rules. I said
It's
yes. You said yeah. Well, the last person broke it. All right, I'm gonna break
Oh
it.
yeah, no, I let people break the rules all the time. I'm letting you because you're so affable.
That's the word of the
Choose
night.
human
Affable.
potential, Michael.
Human potential has always fascinated me because I feel like in the past, well, I don't feel like I know that humans were doing things that we can no longer do, at least like build stuff that we can no longer build. There were probably, I also believe that the way you speak and think affects the way you view the world and your ability to do certain things. There's a fantastic movie about that called Arrival. But I've baked this into my own story where it's about people who can do amazing things because they've untapped an ability from their dreams. Now, I've seen firsthand, those stories are like, oh, a mother picks up a car because their child is
Yes.
trapped underneath.
Yep.
I have witnessed this
You
firsthand, and it was me who was going to die.
What happened?
So, my mother got an ear infection when she was a teenager and could no longer swim because she wasn't allowed to get her ear submerged. It would be incredibly painful. So she didn't swim since she was a teenager. She could swim, but she didn't. And we got into a bit of a surfing kick when I was about, I don't know, 8 or 9 years old. And in Australia, the best surf beaches, if you've ever seen the movie Point Break, they're all out near Bells Beach around that region. It's Torquay region. And they're great surf beaches, but they have really powerful rips. And there's not always going to be in these back beaches, anyone out there to tell you where these rips are. Being a naive Australian kid who thinks, I'm a great swimmer, blah, blah, blah. I go out into the ocean and I'm swimming and I get trapped in a really powerful rip. And I'm this little kid. I get dragged so far. I've never been that far out. Ever. And not even, I'm talking a couple of friggin' football lengths out into the ocean. And there's still waves out there.
Terrifying. Yeah.
There's still waves. They're crashing down on me. And I'm screaming to my mother who's on the shore in a way that I've never screamed. I made a sound I've never made before or since. And in that moment, I'm like, I'm going to die. And my mother, being a mother, jumped into the ocean and swam for the first time in probably 20 years. Swam out to me, grabbed me. And it's like dangerous to grab onto anyone who's out there, who's struggling, because they can drag you under. She grabbed onto me and she swam back through a rip, which is impossible in my estimation. You ask anyone, you cannot swim back through a rip. And by that time, some people had noticed on another beach a ways down that this was happening, and they sent in like a dinghy, one of those motorized kind of Baywatch things.
Mm-hmm. With the jiggly
and
boot.
By the time they got to me, my mother had already dragged me back to the shore through a rip, and they were like, what happened? And so my mother was explaining, they're like, there's no way. Like, we heard someone was drowning. She's like, yeah, I pulled him back. It's like, there's no way. There is no way you did that. And, I was like coughing and spluttering and had adrenaline just like coursing through my veins. I was just in a daze. But no, I vividly remember I was there and she did what is essentially impossible. But obviously it is possible because she did it.
Well, on that note, is this a like family story? Like, remember when
my
Mom
mother does not
did
like
this?
to talk about this?
Really?
That's like, yeah, because she was watching the way I was this blood curdling scream. She was like, "Oh my God, I'm about to lose my son here out in the ocean," and I don't go back into the ocean. I'll go back in, a little bit, but that was sort of it for me. Like I'm kind of done with the ocean at that point. I don't like it enough to go back in, essentially. I'll take my kids in, we'll wade around a little bit in the shallows. But yeah.
Yeah.
No, we
So
don't like to
so
talk about it.
you're not the boogie boarding dad. You're like, stick with
No.
the rollerblades, kids.
No, both my kids are not great swimmers, and that's not because we've kept them away from the water. Like they just haven't really taken to it, which is rare for an Australian kid. Most Australian kids are like fish, they swing everything. But yeah, I don't know if I somehow imprinted what that event onto their DNA. But yeah, no, I was there. I witnessed it, and like we were driving home, and it's a long drive too. It was like a 2-hour drive. We were just silent, just like processing the event in our minds.
Now, do you have siblings?
Yes, 2
And
brothers.
were they there as well?
One brother was there. Yeah, he
Wow.
was just stuck. He was in the he was sort of near the same rip. And what you're supposed to, he's a bit older than me, so he knew what to do. You're supposed to swim sideways. Across the beach to get out of it. So he'd done that, and he was all the way down the other end. He was like ages away. So he watched the whole thing as well, just kind of helpless from the shore. But what should have happened is we both went under. She got sucked out in the rip. I'm out in the rip. Waves crashing. Like Australian surf beaches are no joke. Tourists especially drown all the time on Australian beaches because they're not used to that sort of action out there in the waves. But we're here. It happened.
Insane. This is why I love Conspiracy Corners. When people want to bring up stories that likely have never even been told on your own channel.
No, I've never told that story. I can still feel it. I get a little bit of I don't know if it's adrenaline, but just like something in my skin telling that story.
I'm sorry, remind us, how old were you? Like 9?
Yeah, like 8 or 9, something like that. It was late 80s, probably early 90s, something like that.
Oh, you're old like me.
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
Like to bring that up.
Like Bruce.
Well, Bruce has a very handsome mustache there to sort of sell it all.
It's the only reason people tune into the show. Well, Michael, thank you so much for sharing that story.
My pleasure. I'm glad I could do the Will justice. Again, the other topics, the vaccines. Again, I feel like I've ranted and raged about vaccines for going on 5 years now, and I've kind of had enough of it.
Well, only because you brought it back up, the whole vaccine thing in Australia, because Australia was kind of, during the whole COVID thing, like, seemed like a focal point.
Oh, it was militant. And I'm in the state. I'm in Victoria, which was the longest consecutive lockdown with curfews and coerced vaccinations out of anywhere in the world. And it was a really dark time here for everyone. Well, at least in my family. And then it just ended, and everyone just went on with their lives, and there hasn't been any closure. People were separated from their dying infants and grandparents and parents, and people were forced to take this thing that they're all admitting now. It's really infuriating. On top of that, there were police going around in military, and we never have military style police here, but they somehow became militarized during this thing. They were going around beating people up for being on the beach or walking down the street or standing out the front of their house, like beating them up. And
right.
It was nuts.
Wasn't it Australia? Because that's the thing too. Like, I do take what I see on the internet or the news with a grain of salt. Wasn't it Australia though that actually did kind of implement the quarantine housing units
Yeah,
and
no, they were
shit.
100% real. We had quarantine facilities. They did the thing they're doing in the UK as well, where they just, buy a hotel and would stick people in there. If you had nowhere else to go, they would forcibly stick you in a hotel room, and you were not permitted to leave. Like in China, they would lock you in there. And then they were also taking people away and taking them to. They built these camps. They're built. They're there. They exist right now. I don't know what they're using them for now, but they built them. And what was really desperate about the situation is the we had a conservative federal government at the time who were helping this, and we have a socialist left-wing government in the state, and our opposition to that party, they didn't condemn the socialists for building and using the camps. They condemned them for not building them quick enough and spending too much money on them. They weren't cost effective in their concentration camps. Like, it was crazy. So it felt really hopeless for a long time. And then I think, people started waking up out of this stupor, and but still they're not held accountable. The only saving grace that I've heard from this whole thing is that the premier of the state, who was part of this, led this whole thing, led the charge. He had to kind of escape to the country. So he's in a small town in Victoria now, and the word is that no one there wants anything to do with him. He's not being served in any local businesses. He can't get any work done. He has to hire in contractors from Melbourne hours away to get people to, like, say, work on his house, because the locals won't do anything for him. And that's the only kind of saving grace we have. I mean, he's still on a friggin' $500,000 a year pension.
Which, yeah, literally he should probably just be hanging. But Headless says something that, this is how I did want to close it out, was, mass psychosis is a hell of a drug. Do you believe Australians, because me in, the United States COVID reaction, like, I was shocked. I lost faith in humanity. I'm like, wow, we're a bunch of fucking pussies. Do you have faith that this would not be able to happen again in Australia over some kind of manufactured crisis?
It'll happen again, and it'll be worse. We learnt nothing. We re-elected the same governments. We celebrated them, saying they did a good job, and it's gotten worse. Where there's more censorship now than there ever was then. They're really trying to push through the digital ID, and that's happening. They are, like, banning YouTube and social media and stuff for under 16. And I actually personally agree children should not be on social media, but that's a parent thing. I do something with my kids. That's not the government's purview. But the way they're getting that is everyone has to use facial biometric scans to log into the internet this following December, and on top of that, again, everyone just moved on. I always knew Australia was very anti-liberal in the sense of liberty. When I say liberal, I don't mean like progressive. I mean liberty, like John Locke, classical liberty. I would say things like free speech, and people would say, "Oh, that's a bloody American thing. We don't have that." But I really found out, when BLM had a massive protest in Melbourne in the middle of the lockdown, and the police came out and kneeled. And then the journalist said, "This isn't going to spread COVID. It's actually going to help curtail COVID somehow." And then a few months later, there was an anti-lockdown protest, and the police came out with rubber bullets and shot everyone. And they were, like, running through the streets shooting people. And these rubber bullets are not, like, nothing. It's not like getting hitting with a Nerf gun. It's like there was serious, like, welts and black eyes and everything. And
Rubber bullets are worse than beanbags.
Yeah, and
because they're
And
tiny and they leave a hell of a welt.
that was like a couple of months apart, and no one learned anything and no one did anything. So no, it's getting worse here, and it's going to get worse. And we're in, I think, a situation like in the UK and Canada where it's like there's no voting your way out of this, because there's no viable political party that is standing in opposition to it. So, and plus, I just don't think Australians have that in them. The US was born out of fighting back against the British Empire. Australia is born of the British Empire. We are an extension of the British Empire, so we're the other side. Australians are very quick to put authoritarian laws down if it gives the perception of safety. It doesn't have to be safety, but at least it makes it look safe.
Right.
Wasn't Australia used as like the prison state in the original?
Yeah, yes and no. I mean that was done all over the world back in those days. But yeah, there was a larger portion of people who were convicts. But that was actually, that sort of spirit, the bushranger spirit and everything, actually was a bit more like freedom loving. More than anything, I think Australians they love authority. They trust the institutions, and they don't really value freedom. They much more highly value a perception of safety than freedom. The average Australian has no concept of natural rights or liberty or anything like that.
So your government wants you basically living in their buildings, you own nothing, and you'll be happy kind of situation.
80% of all new jobs in the last year that were created in Australia are government jobs. Over 50% of all jobs in Australia are government jobs. The government and seemingly the people want Australia to be styled after China. So that's the situation. It's pretty dire here.
I'm pretty disgusted. I'm pretty disgusted at Conspiracy Corner. Bruce, do you have one?
Yeah, we led into a dark path. That's what I'm saying. That's why I was saying,
does.
like, the vaccines get me started on this train, and it's like the Lucent is actually, I don't really speak about this much. The themes of the Lucent are liberty versus authority. Like, that's the overarching theme. Who is right? Who is wrong? Is it better to have liberty and live in a potentially dangerous world because people can have freedoms? Or is it better to live in a nanny state where a top-down authority makes you safe through force?
They don't make us safe, though. That's the
Exactly.
thing. I mean, that's just absolute propaganda,
That's why I always say it's the perception of safety. That's what with the vaccine. It was always the perception of safety. There was no guarantee, and it turned out it wasn't even anything. In fact, ended up being more dangerous than the disease itself. Russell Brand just pointed out something that is so true. The best response to COVID would have just been to pretend like it wasn't even happening. Because a year earlier, in 2018, 3,000 people died in Australia from the flu. And we locked down our entire country for 2 years because at that time, 90 people had died. But the year earlier, 3,000 people died and no one even knew about it. So it's the perception of safety. It was pretty hilarious. I don't watch the news. I don't watch TV, but my dad would tell me, he said, you turn on the news, the first 20 minutes, it's a presenter telling you about how a 97-year-old died of COVID. Like it's this big event. A 97-year-old has died of COVID complications in such and such, here's the story. And then they cross the hospital and there's a reporter there. The woman the 97-year-old was brought in at 2 a.m. last night with breathing complications, and it was
After
insanity.
being hit by a car.
It was I
You
was like,
know?
maybe she died because she was 97 years old. You know.
Mm-hmm.
What about the guy who was riding his motorcycle and crashed and died, and they
Yeah.
said he died of COVID when he died of head injuries from hitting a tree on his motorcycle.
We had a great senator who has since not been re-elected, who did lots of these Senate hearings, and he would ask this. He would say, "So if you're brought in and you have a whatever motorcycle accident, but you happen to test of COVID, ask them straight to their faces, what will your cause of death be listed?" And they said they'll be listed as COVID.
Yep.
And no one cared. And no one said, "Oh, sounds like a whole." So we can't, in fact, trust any of the numbers. No, they just went along with it. And it was there was a kid. It was crazy. Because I had kids. I still have one kid in primary school at the time, and they said Australia's first primary school student dies of COVID. Oh, this 8-year-old, and that it was national news for a week. And then finally, a week later, we get a look at the kid. And it's this kid who's like this big, has had heart problems and genetic disorders and all sorts of stuff since they were born. Was in hospital, I think, for cancer. And, got COVID. And that was the thing that tipped them over, maybe. I don't know. But that was the cause of death for a week. And it was all like, you've got to get your kids vaccinated.
Right.
Because they're
Yeah.
in danger. And it was a time to be alive. It was, easily the worst, couple of years of our lives.
We could talk about this all night long. It can be.
I feel like I have
show.
talked about this for 5 years now. Yeah.
Well, on that note, thank you so much, Michael, for bringing us down once again in Conspiracy Corner. Why can't Conspiracy
We
Corner
should have done
ever be
aliens.
fun?
We should have done aliens,
Well, you didn't choose that.
Yeah.
The human potential story, though, was rad. And
It
then
is
we just had to devolve down into the whole vaccine thing. But this is the thing that I really love to do to end out the stream. Michael, you don't know this, but you're getting branded.
No?
But don't worry. It's not in any kind of weird sex cult kind of way. It's just a
Good.
Flip City branding. And I chose something very special for you tonight. And it needs a little bit of setup. So I chose a Flip City piece of content that was created, both written and illustrated, by our very own Bogan, Ben Sullivan. Eventually, I'm going to make you guys meet. We're going to make that
I would love
happen.
to.
It's called Karen Extreme. I realized when I was cutting it apart today for the slideshow that we actually don't have a title for it. So the way the branding works is you just read this out loud to our audience. The thing is, I've read it before. We've turned it into an animation, but I'm doing it in an American accent. I need it in an Australian accent, but it is a girl. So
Okay.
can you play a girl?
I mean, we'll try. Oh,
Yeah, do
I
your
don't know if
very
she's going to
best.
sound like a girl, but hey,
Let's
that's
just
very
do-
2025, isn't it?
Exactly. So, Michael, we're going to bring up the first slide here. You can start reading immediately. It's not that long of a piece, but I think it's kind of funny and a
Let's
little
do it.
sweet. Here we go.
Hey guys, yeah, I know I'm daydreaming like mad when really I should be hard at work right now. I should be writing my article for BizFeed and doing an essay for my gender studies class. It's times like these I just get so stressed out that I go for a long walk and just be me. Maybe even bump into my friends. Totally random, but whatever. They're great, and we have heaps of intellectual convos on things like rights and stuff. We're so diverse. You know what? Life is pretty good. But things aren't good all the time. There are some who just think wrong.
Ew.
Ew. Some people are just gross and evil. I'm always on my guard because Nazis and able-bodied heteronormie breeders are everywhere. It gets me mad, and when I get mad, I turn left. I'm a warrior. For my truth and my lived experience, I am justice. For minorities, the poor and helpless people, I'm stunning and brave. I am oppressed.
You're Karen.
I'm Karen, sorry. I am Karen. Whee!
And there we have it. You are now Flip City branded. I didn't let you know in the lead-in that comes with invitations back to our party streams. And I'm so happy that I see Salty Draws here because I've given him his max invitations back to our party streams and he's never joined. So Salty, you got to come back to Creative Chaos and get your rebrand. And I just had to put out that public service announcement. Thank you.
Well,
Thank you, Michael.
Thank you very much for having me on. This was a lot of fun.
I hope you did.
It was nice to finally meet you, and you too, Bruce.
Thank you. You as well. Love the art in the book.
Thank you, man. Thank you.
So, Michael, this does mark the end of our show. Tell everybody what you want them to do.
Follow me over on at The Lucent Comic on X, and also subscribe to my channel. It's just Michael Bancroft. I do 4 shows a week. And also, if you like the sound of what we were talking about with The Lucent, go check it out at thelucentcomic.com. Oh, can't hear you.
My wonderful, lovely co-host, Bruce Q. Wayne, otherwise known as the Batman. What about you, brother?
Well, you can always find me Thursday nights here with you, most Thursday nights, when I'm not out and about doing other things. And the main place to find me is every Sunday night, 7 o'clock Big Apple time, 4 o'clock Avocado time on 3 Beer Men. That's the number 3, beermen.tv. Thank you. I appreciate that, Glenn Fleming. Yes, it's a very cool shirt.
He's the king of novelty shirts.
I have so many shirts, it's not even funny. But 3beermen.tv every Sunday night. Come check us out. Vulcan lives. Yes, sir. Thank you very much. And remember, guys, Cosmic Grandpa, throw that stinger up one more time. Let's remember to like, share, subscribe, ring the notification bell, and if you're unpilled, hit that red pill and show us some love.
All right, and then, of course, best takes on entertainment and politics. We've got a campaign launching on August 29th of a special edition of all of our best parodies written and published over the last 5 years, and we'll probably even have a new one in there. And we're running a contest. Go sign up to be notified when the campaign goes live, and you'll be entered in a contest to win a free 1-year subscription to Flip City Magazine. There is nothing else out there in the entire universe, and if you're not a dirty commie, you're guaranteed to laugh your ass off. That's pretty much what Flip City Magazine is. The world needs more satire. We hear it over and over, and we're doing it in print. Anyway, so that does it for tonight. Thank you so much, Michael, and I look forward to hanging out with you here or there in the future.
Me too.
This is where everybody waves. Bye.
Bye. We'll see you guys next week.
Bye.
Okay, class. List everything insensitive. exclusionary, bigoted, nationalistic, misogynistic, and offensive that you can find in history's great myths and legends. Extra points for suffering panic attacks or emotional outbursts. Fact check every opinion against the lived experience of your comrades and allies so you can avoid forming a criminal opinion. Scrutinize it cover to cover. Wrongthink, misgendering, dead naming, misinformation, microaggressions. Leave no page unturned.